broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey Buzzers, welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's Arrow After Show. We have a juicy, succulent Olicity show to break down for you. I'm your host, Alikona Bradford. Do not forget to watch us live. If you are not doing it now, you can go back and do it next episode. But if you are, hashtag ABTV Arrow and join our conversation with these lovely folks next to me. And I will start with you.
Succulent and juicy?
Yeah.
Not a steak.
I don't care. It is great sex.
But it's pretty tender.
You could say that there were high stakes.
Oh, but I'm cheap.
Who are you?
Well, this has been fun. Lex Michael,
folks.
Twitter handle at the Lex Michael.
And I'm Tauri J. Miller, Twitter handle Tauri J, TAURIJAY.
And I'm Katie Cullen. Hi, all my buddies.
And I didn't-
Twitter handle at Twitter handle doesn't matter, obviously. Sorry. Twitter handle at Kiaxet, KIAXET. And if you'd like to join in the conversation, our hashtag is ABTV Arrow. Also, we're evidently running with hashtag ABTV Frogwater tonight.
Frogwater, yeah, okay. So let's get this out of the way right now. Lazarus Pit, awesome. When Thea comes out of the Lazarus Pit, now we know if you look back to the comics, the Lazarus Pit gives the user temporary insanity and temporary increased strength. But the way she comes flying out of the pit and lands
Boing.
like a frog, I found spectacular. So from now on, and if I can, through the end of the entire run of Arrow as a series, it is not the Lazarus Pit, it's the Frogwater.
So let's add that to the Raz al Ghul of Justice. And what was our other one?
Hey, I don't know.
Something.
Well, I know he's starting a decorating show.
Yeah.
But that wasn't it. It was
Nah.
vigilante.
Vigilante. Yeah. And you know, I'm just gonna, real quick, I'm gonna squeeze in my Twitter handle because I totally forgot to give it to you guys.
Yes, yours is important.
Yeah, it is, you know, it's at Kiss My Passport. Also, do not forget to look up my YouTube channel, Boys and Beauty.
Aww.
Okay, moving right along to the show. Let's talk about Thea and about how in the very beginning of the show, okay, we left her last episode on the floor. And then when we come back this episode, she's like, and she's crawling. And the first thing I thought is, woman, how are you still alive?
You'd be surprised what people can survive, especially in superhero continuity.
I mean, I suppose.
And Raz isn't so good at finishing people off.
But he didn't want to, right? I would assume that he just wanted her to be just on the edge, which was perfectly timed with the fact that Oliver had to watch her almost die in the hospital, which is quite moving.
I would
Right.
say, assuming that the pit can bring people back to life and has done so before, he probably would not care whether she was alive or dead, so long as the damage was severe enough to require Oliver to make the deal with the devil, as it were.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the demon.
I'll take it a step further. Since we've established that Raz al Ghul is such a jerk, we see Thea crawling or desperately trying to crawl towards the phone, which is right there, just out of reach, presumably to call Oliver, somebody for help.
911.
I like the idea that possibly Raz al Ghul, before leaving, took a look at where she was on the floor, saw her hand, and just dropped the phone just out of reach like that. And just walked away going,
Arranges the scene artfully because he's Raz al Ghul and he can't resist decorating.
no.
I mean,
He leaves a note, I'll pay for the table, it was nice.
Invoice me.
oh, wow.
You'll inherit the invoice, but nonetheless, invoice me.
I mean, go ahead.
Oh no! The one other thing, slightly more serious note, referencing Oliver in the hospital mourning over his sister. I thought Amell did a really stellar
Thank you.
job.
High five. I wanted to bring that up. Him and Barrow. I mean, obviously, John has been in the business a little bit longer, but still both a beautiful job at the scene. Very touching, very real, and yeah, big props to Stephen Amell.
Yeah, he doesn't get too much opportunity to show that type of depth, and I think he demonstrated admirably that he is very, very much capable of doing so.
Yeah.
He's usually a little more on the mustache twirling side.
Yeah. I will say this, though. Was anybody else a little bit shocked? And maybe you guys weren't, but the fact that Merlin was so against bringing her back. He had made the statement, I would rather lose her than, put her in the pit and have her come back. Like, you have no idea what you're about to mess around with.
See, here's the thing. He's been with the League long enough. We started the show with came back haunted for a reason. I wonder if he's seen a resurrection go wrong. I mean, obviously it's been solid for Raz, and obviously, at least from what we've seen, it's been solid for Thea, with albeit temporary memory loss. I wonder if he's seen it go completely wrong, if he's seen someone come back with no memories or be uncontrollably insane that doesn't abate.
Or 100% a frog.
Right.
Or a complete frog, yes. I have to wonder if he's seen something where they tried to fix the person and they could not be fixed for one reason or another. Maybe the 5% of resurrections that are like, well, we tried, but man.
I mean, that is what it is. I love that you do call it a resurrection, though, and they had the whole full-on ceremony. All of us were talking about who is the woman doing all the announcing.
It's the priestess.
I have no idea.
She is super prepared.
Yes.
But who is she?
I have no idea.
She's on their payroll. She comes in to do these ceremonies. Yeah. I mean,
They give her a nice room in the back, plenty of throw pillows, whatever.
I would assume that she's probably like Nissa's mom or something.
It's possible. Why? Because she's Asian?
No, but she's the only woman we've seen so far.
Whatever. I will say this,
She's the only one that we know is a woman so far. Everyone looks like they just walked off of a Mortal Kombat set.
They are wearing the hoods and the masks. At least half of them could be ladies.
It's just finish him.
Did any of you guys think, though, I felt like the way they led into the scene with Thea and the way there was the build-up with Merlin saying you don't know what you're going to get out, and even in the preview or right before we cut to the commercial, we see her jump out of the Lazarus Pit, and you're going, oh my goodness. And I thought it was very quick for her to go from, oh my goodness, to, Daddy, I love you, who's Oliver, and then back to normal. I would have wanted, if we really wanted to make it a cliffhanger, I would have wanted to see her really be something or be possessed or whatever it is, and it be a challenge to get her back to normal. Otherwise, the risk was really not that big.
Yeah, Barrowman's anxieties didn't play out yet.
Right.
It could get worse.
True. Very true.
And it could be that he's just seen stuff. And notice that they pretty much sedated Thea immediately.
Yeah.
They were prepared for this eventuality.
And we don't know what the long-term effects are. I mean, she could, in fact, start becoming another person. Or
True.
Like she was effectively on the other side. So, I mean, there could be repercussions for that as well. I mean, it changes your soul, as Merlin says.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was really awkward that she was like, Dad, I love you. And the whole person who brought her here and brought her back to life was Oliver. And she's like, huh?
I thought that was really smart.
It's smart, but still
I thought
like,
that was a very good stab in the heart. Like, you sacrificed everything for this, and look how it turned out. This episode was very good at, did you need those heartstrings? Yank.
Though, from
so.
Merlin's perspective, it was everything he could have ever wanted. He's like, my daughter's alive and she loves me, and I'm a free man.
I can't believe he said that at the end, too. Yeah. Well, speaking of Lazarus Pits, that brings us to our very first trivia question. If you are new to this, hop on the ABTV Arrow hashtag. You can answer the questions, and we'll give you shout-outs. And if these questions suck, it's all Lex's fault. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're great questions. Anyway, okay. So first question is, the comic book counterparts of which two Arrow characters have also been exposed directly to the healing powers of the Lazarus Pit? And Raz does not count. Boo, boo,
I think I know one of them.
Boo, boo, boo. Hop on Twitter. Okay. Let's get into...
I'm not tweeting my own answer to our trivia.
No, not you. I was talking to you.
I know.
So for this very special occasion,
compete in my own contest.
No, really, actually, it's hot in here. But since we're going to talk about Olicity, the jacket has to come off.
My God,
all right.
Your name is worse than mine.
Everyone who's listening on iTunes,
You're missing a show.
On iTunes, it's just like, what?
No, I really don't dance like that. Okay, so let's just talk about Felicity and Oliver. because it was amazing. And I know some of you may not agree, but
It definitely was a thing that happened.
it was a thing that happened. And I love that before anything even happened between Oliver and Felicity, she went into this, and I don't know what happened, but she grew some lady balls. It was amazing.
She's had them the whole time.
But they surfaced.
I think she is out of spoons is the term I've heard used, and I'm editing that heavily. But you only have so many spoons to give, and when you run out, that's kind of when you hit the end of your rope. And that, she's been at the end of her rope for several episodes, and she finally just snapped. And I am not surprised at all to see this from her, and I am very happy that it happened. And I really hate Raz al Ghul right now.
Yeah. I loved it, though. Oh, go ahead.
My backstory is tragic, so I'm going to screw up life for everybody else.
Yeah. Which we got to hear the backstory, a little bit of Raz, his human life, if you will.
Kind of.
Ish.
A guy showed up and gave me a choice, and I took it. Well, could you be more vague?
Right. Well, I mean, and Felicity is right. She called him out and said, well, I mean, that was given up really quick. But she was just throwing punches, just, take this.
Yeah.
I'm getting my man back.
Someone had to take the initiative. Like, we know that Oliver, as much as he respects Diggle, never listens to him.
True story.
But, like, he loves Felicity, and he's at least willing to kind of adhere to what she says, even if it's just to kind of keep her happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, yeah. Man.
You know, but it took this whole situation, and it took Raz telling Felicity the story to say, hey, you really only have a short amount of time left with him, so tell him how you feel, tell him everything, and then say goodbye.
Okay. So my question as I was watching this was, obviously, once you take over as the new Raz al Ghul and you're in charge of the entire League of Assassins, presumably, yes, that's a full-time job, keeps you very busy, but we've seen more than once that Raz can pretty much go wherever he wants, whenever he wants to. So why was this goodbye forever?
Well, I was thinking the same thing until we got to the end and we find out that he has to start as like a peon.
True, yeah, okay. He's got to go
and then
through.
he has to change him and burn out his old life and yada, yada,
Right.
yada. And then
yeah.
there's no more Anakin Skywalker, now it's Darth Vader.
Yeah, but who was sad when that happened?
Okay.
Silently raising our hands.
I've been watching Star Wars Rebels. It's really sad to see the aftermath, okay?
Fair enough.
It's that sort of thing, having to give up his past life. And, you know, once that's gone, he's not going to care about
That's true. That is very true.
sister, girlfriend, other people, etc. So...
Okay, so for all the Olicity haters, lovers. That came out wrong. There are a lot of haters.
All of the haters are
But for
watching the
all the
wrong
lovers, I'm
podcast
sorry.
right
I'm going
now.
to take 2 seconds just because we waited the entire season for this moment. So I'm just going to lavish in it for just 2 more seconds and say that it was an amazing scene, and I love the fact that she did all that and then turned around and drugged him. You saw that one coming. I did not see that one coming. Katie's not paying attention to me. But anyways, I just want to say that was a really hot, sexy scene, and I liked it. And
I saw the drugging coming.
I just said that. That's what I just said.
I'm very happy.
Okay, I said before we got on the mics, I was really preoccupied with the candles. That's a lot of this. So much, like, I get it. And look, it totally was very, very appropriate setting the mood for that scene, especially that scene at that time. But that's so many candles. That's a lot of candles. And does every room have that many candles?
Yes, because there's no electricity.
Right.
So it's either a bunch of candles or one of those giant torches that they have in the foyer.
So do you think there is a League of Assassins candle lighting division, or is it just one poor guy who has to go all over this complex in Nanda Parbat and light thousands upon thousands of candles by himself?
I think it's
it
a
is
ranking system.
I think it's the least liked section of the chore wheel. You could just, it's like the Wheel of Fortune wheel because there's so much upkeep they have to do. Like, all right, Bob, what is it? Spin the wheel, spin the wheel. Ooh, you're on candle lighting duty for the East End. See you tomorrow. But it's windy in the East End. They'll all blow out, Bob. We all have to do it at least once.
Bob,
get going.
the candle
Get the
intern.
lighter.
But then, okay, so this is, like, do they have plumbing there?
I mean, we're getting
because
off
that's
topic.
the other least liked section of the chore wheel.
I mean, I assume they have an irrigation system at least.
You would
but there's
hope.
irrigation and then there's plumbing.
And someone still has to maintain the irrigation system, and especially if there is no fully working plumbing, somebody has to go and clean that mess up.
Ross was more worried about his aesthetic than he was about the practicality. And Anyway, we have a really good comment from Alex Snow on Twitter saying, Thea saying, "Dad, I love you," was a clue about how her soul changed. So that might be something worth pondering.
Good call on that one. I was going to say, if you were in the position of Felicity, right? You just made love to your boo who you've been waiting for forever, and, everyone's melting of souls and all that mushy-gushy stuff. Would you have done the same thing?
No.
You wouldn't have drugged him and tried to take him away?
No, because there's no...
Thank you.
There was no way that they were going to get out of there.
She can't lift him.
He was...
Okay, we need you for the record.
We were watching the show, because this has to be explained, and it was glorious.
This is a beautiful moment.
Where, she drugs him, and then she says, "I can't lose you." And Alikona goes, "She can't lift him?" I was like, what? Like, well, this plan fell apart. She can't lift him. And we all kind of went, no. She can't lose him.
My ears.
Technically true. But you can't. If you're in Felicity's position, I imagine you can't do nothing. Your heart will not let you just allow this to happen. That being said, I'm very glad that as soon as Malcolm and Diggle find out that this was her plan, they immediately go, "Wow, that was a bad plan."
Yeah, but you know what, though? Again, I got to give her credit, because Felicity, recently she has gradually stood up for herself this season, but prior to, she was always so to herself and quiet, smart, but quiet. And it's like this episode really escalated her
she literally walks in. She literally goes in and tells off Raz al Ghul to his face.
Right.
That's wonderful.
And then goes back to her team and starts delegating when they say it's not a good idea. No, you do this, we're doing this.
Too bad, it's already started.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a few trivia answers.
Yay!
Those are fun.
We have Andy Epsilantis saying Nyssa and Laurel. We have Andre Doty saying Talia al Ghul and Jason Todd, Red Hood.
Those are
and
narrow
then
characters.
No need of Google. Laurel Lance and Oliver Queen. It's Batman.
It's Batman. It's always Batman.
It is kind of always Batman. Have any of these been correct so far? Because Batman was
okay.
one.
Do you want to give it?
Black
go ahead.
Canary
Go
and
ahead.
Nyssa have used the Lazarus Pit, says William L. Williams. Same thing from Nancy Mbai. Nyssa and Black Canary, Laurel Lance.
Yes, it is
and
Nyssa and
Batman
Black
and
Canary.
Talia.
But but those aren't narrow characters. But okay, yes, technically true. And actually Nyssa was given a Lazarus Pit by Raz al Ghul, and she was the one who figured out how to use Lazarus Pits indefinitely, whereas before that it was only one pit, one person, one use. And Black Canary wasn't killed, but she suffered serious injuries and used, I wrote this down, Birds of Prey number 34, went into a don't grin at me, Tauri.
Was that during Gail Simone's run?
Might have been.
Anyway, continue.
That's worth looking up. Somebody tell me on the internet. But we were talking about, and I didn't want to say anything else before we got this answer out of the way, we were talking about lasting effects of the Lazarus Pit. And she comes out of the pit, Laurel does, same thing, same increased strength, temporary insanity. But as time goes on, she regains not only her, the Canary Cry in this universe is more of a technical tool that she can use, but it's an ability she has in the books. She regains that ability as well as her ability to conceive children, which she had lost, way in advance of her sustaining these injuries. So that's worth mentioning, because there could be a sustained effect as time goes on.
Interesting.
Why do you...
I just have to bring this up because this is my favorite continuation of a joke so far. From Elliot Brum. Roz lights the candles himself and dictates all the red cushion placement. Homes and interiors, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Thank you, Elliot.
Nice.
That was pretty great. I'm sorry, please continue.
No, I was going to say, why do you suppose? So we heard Maceo talk a little bit about his past when him and Diggle get into it, because Diggle gives him, this is how you be a man in his own way. And he talks about his son dying in his arms, what have you, but then we also have the deal with Roz and why are you doing this and that, and maybe the time frame was just off, but it made me wonder if at any point in time Roz had tried to strike a deal with Maceo when he became Sarab, and if it had to do with his son, and maybe something with his son didn't go so well with the Lazarus Pit.
Full frog?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like Maceo's son died. Like I said, I think we're going to get him dying in flashbacks, because we do have it confirmed that, yep, my son is super dead by this point. I honestly think we're going to get Akio dying in flashbacks. and them splitting up as a result of it, because we had that disagreement during the flashbacks today of, you think we should do this because this reason, well, I also think we should do it because this reason, but it's obvious that they don't agree on this course of action.
Right.
And then if this is the course of action that ultimately loses them their son, because we do see that the bioweapon is released, and they said they had enough vaccination for the 3 of them. He was not incled.
Okay, so where is Akio at this point? Is he with Grandma?
Still with Grandma, I would
Okay.
imagine. So I'm willing to bet that he's going to die in the bioweapon, and that they will split up as a result of it, because one of them wanted to go and one of them wanted to get their kid to safety. So that's the dead child, the decimation of that relationship, and then Maseo joining the League in grief in much the same way that we've seen Merlin do.
Right. Totally off the topic, but in the flashback, I have to say it. Why was Tatsu wearing glitter? Totally random.
Because when you're
fighting and kicking ass, you have to have glitter on. I mean,
was going to say, no, if you're fighting close quarters combat, you need every advantage. Even if you're a trained fighter, you want every advantage you possibly can. So
blind them with the glitter.
If you run up to somebody, you have that half a second where that dude, that soldier, maybe he's got a gun and you don't, and you want him to go, is she wearing glitter? Bam, right in your face.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Booster. You walk out there going, I look amazing and I am going to kill a man today. And hey, she looked amazing and she killed lots of men.
Yes.
It was great.
Oh, okay, so I have to bring up we have a little cheat whiteboard in case I forget what I'm talking about, where I'm going. I get to write little notes. It's right above the camera, and my board says penis sword.
Sure does.
Yes,
Yep.
It does. And you want to know why? Actually, that was my own reminder of, okay, so when they finally take down the truck and realize that there's no... Why are you smiling at me like that?
I'm sorry, I'm
just
losing it over
reveling
here.
in the moment. I don't know.
Okay.
He's having a ball.
Yeah. So anyhow, they take over the truck. It's a false alarm. It doesn't even have the Alpha Omega in it. But Tatsu wants to find out where this thing is. So she comes with her swords. Well, she didn't do all that. She was just holding him, but I like the sound effects. Anyway, so she's holding him. She walks up to him. She holds the sword to his throat. Where is it? I'm just gonna go south a little bit. Yeah, what now, fool? And she puts the sword to his penis, and guess what? He gives her the answer.
I mean, that would do it.
Penis swords. It always works.
Penis swords. Indeed.
Okay.
I'm just
That's my
thumbs up for
random
that.
rant.
I'm just let's all get on that bandwagon.
Can I circle back to Raz for a second?
Please do. Circle.
I just thought about it in that, like, I'm realizing after we got his backstory that, like, ever since probably this Raz has begun, he's been on a quest gathering men who are abandoning their families in the same way that he did his own way. And I think it's really interesting to see, like, how that, if at all, that plays into his succession with Oliver, because he's essentially going, hey, you lost your family, I lost my family. Let's relate and
Let's
become
lose
my
our families
slave.
together.
Well, what I thought was interesting, too, is most, if not all, versions of Raz al Ghul, elements of his backstory are similar. For example, having a wife, like the love of his life, who he loses in some capacity, along with occasionally one or more children. This, to my knowledge, is the only version, or it's the only version that I've heard that I can think of where he was given even a semblance of a say in the matter.
Right.
Where he was given, I mean, it's not much of a choice. It's you abandon your family or we're going to torture and kill your family. That's just not a really great set of options.
Right.
But he still made a call of his own at some point in that journey of loss, whereas in every other version, it's like he just had his family taken from him somehow.
Right.
And that's what drives him. So it's interesting that there is a certain amount of
Well, it was told to him that either you come with me or I kill your family right now, so leave quietly.
Well, and I feel like this is almost too, I hesitate to say too convenient, but boy, was that a nice little Aesop's fable with a moral for Felicity that was really super convenient at that moment and devoid of all details. Where were you? Who was the guy who took you? Why did he give you this choice? He makes it sound like, well, it just happened right the heck out of the blue. Was, no, that's how I joined the League of Assassins, or no, that's how I this, or no. There were not enough details for me not to believe that he wasn't just, I have too many negatives in that sentence. I feel like he was making it up on the spot to disarm Felicity.
Well, the implication is that the man was the previous Raz, and that was his recruitment process.
You come with me.
I saw you at a mall in Wisconsin.
Come with me if you want your family to live.
But here's the thing. You are talking to a very angry woman right now. Do you really think she cares if you go into detail about how this and that happened? She's probably going to drain you out and not listen to you. So just give her the shortest version of the story while she's listening and then get it done.
I'm talking about it from a writing standpoint.
Well, I'm talking about it from if I was there, I wouldn't listen to him standpoint. He was just trying to make his point, get it across, and send her on her way. And we only have an hour to watch the show. That's excluding commercials.
True, but I think we could have given another 10 or 15 seconds for a few more lines of
Because what
detail.
You wouldn't have, even if everything he told Felicity is true, why would the previous Raz al Ghul pick him? It doesn't seem like that's a job you get by being picked out of a hat.
And we don't even know that it was join the League of Assassins or your family will die. It just said he just gave me a decision.
Join my bowling team.
But honestly, if I were Felicity, would I care? Nope. I don't care about you. I don't care about your backstory. Give me my man. Deuces.
My man.
Just saying.
And Raz is like, no, he's my man now.
Yeah,
And that's
I mean,
why I think the backstory was crafted.
Yeah.
Because that is her one weakness, is she's pulling at everything she has right now. We have contacts, we have this, we have resources, we will come after you and we will start a war against the League of Assassins. She's obviously very angry and very emotional and very desperate. And so he's pulling at that one little, if you can't win, this is the only time you have to say goodbye. And he grabs that and pulls the rug out from under her. So it is kind of a go away and leave me alone, but it's also a quit fighting back. This is how it is. This is all the time you have. And I feel like my perfect little backstory matches with this. It's just too convenient. It really is.
Now let me ask you this. Twitter followers, live streamers at home watching right now. Let me ask you, in the DC universe, which mainstay, what? Oh,
I was like, no segue. More trivia.
No,
Okay.
yeah, mainstay notably did not experience temporary insanity as a result of the exposure of the Lazarus Pits. Just staying with the Lazarus Pit theme, if you haven't noticed.
We did get this from Alex Snow. Birds of Prey number 34 original series was written by Chuck Dixon, not Gail Simone.
It was the original run. Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
Let's just talk about very quickly, because we started talking about Maceo a little bit and how he had the interaction with Diggle, and then we see it come around full circle.
Yeah.
I just wanted to use, because you said full circle. Anyways, something. And he helps out the almost attempt of getting Oliver out the building, and then right when Raz is like, "Who is this traitor? We must find him."
Here's me. Sorry.
Yeah. Bye.
But every other scene, his agenda seems to do a complete 180.
This is true. This is very true. But when he got on his knees, I was like, seriously? Is this really going to happen right now? And then
I thought he was going to make Oliver kill him.
And instead, he was bizarrely reasonable.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say. What just happened? Okay, Sarab versus Maceo. That was Maceo thinking. That wasn't Sarab. Okay.
It's like, okay, well, that's very mature of you, Raz.
Good explanation. Ooh, speaking of mature, I'm going to take it back to Ray a little bit. We didn't talk about Ray.
I love Ray.
You know, he's grown on me. I still don't want him with Felicity, but he grew on me, and I thought, what a classy guy tonight.
Sorry, Lex, your ship sank.
Look, he gets his own show. We're fine.
Right.
That's true.
That's not a terrible trade-off. Like, look, he doesn't get to be with the woman he loves, fine, but he gets top billing on his own spinoff. I think it's
Well, you know he's
That's
not
smart.
going to stick around when in the credits he's billed as with special guest.
right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I just thought it was a nice closure to, you know, he was very honest, and he said, you know, look, when I told you I loved you and you talked about hot Jell-O, it was a bit of a clue. And then when I saw you with Oliver, oh. But the fact that he still said, you know, here, take my jet, and I hope, whatever he said, those
I
terrible
hope the awful thing stops being awful.
Yeah, and I thought that was
essentially.
really sweet.
Well, it's like, oh, you're a good people when you're not being a creepy stalker. I'm so glad we moved past that.
Maybe he's a creepy stalker because he's nervous. He really liked her.
He's just
and
really socially
he did
awkward.
I mean,
stupid
yeah.
stuff.
His EQ is real low,
High intelligence score, low wisdom score.
pretty much.
Yep.
Last thing I want to talk about is Laurel. We only got a sneak peek of Laurel for 2.2 seconds. She apparently was the last person to find out.
There's a reason for that. Because she and Detective Lance were in the Flash this week, and they were involved in that. So it's entirely possible that
She's
this was
gone.
happening concurrently, and she just didn't get the news. Because we didn't see Oliver call anybody.
Right.
God
No.
knows how anyone found out, but we didn't see him call anyone, and she was dealing with Cisco and Joe and them. It's entirely possible that she was out of the loop for that entire day.
Yeah.
We have an answer to our trivia question really quick. At Vern's Views, he said it was the Joker. And
He's
that is
right.
correct.
And more to the point, he goes on to say Joker was in fact rendered sane when put into the Lazarus Pit, which is correct.
Whoa,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, wow. Reverse effect. I mean,
That's how
It
crazy the
fixes
Joker is.
things.
anyhow.
Here's a fun fact.
Sure.
From Kathleen, I know I've pronounced this once right, and I don't know if I can do it again. Safel. The soldier Tatsu had at sword point had the name Bamford on his uniform. A shout out to stunt coordinator James Bamford.
nice.
That's really cool.
Good
Thanks for
eye.
bringing that up.
Yeah, really good eye. Before I go, because we're unfortunately we started late, so we're running short on time. I want to get one more trivia question out and then just hop into news and gossip, unless you guys want to bring anything else up that I forgot. And while you're thinking, I'm just going to read the trivia
I am going to
question.
say
Yeah.
this. You'll notice very quickly when you're trying to keep a Lazarus Pit theme with your trivia questions, you run out of questions that aren't somehow related to Batman pretty early on.
Okay, and with that said, in Batman, Hush. Which villain used the Lazarus Pit without League permission to rid himself of a brain tumor? Is that the answer?
And in the process, deducing the Dark Knight's identity.
Oh, thank you.
Huh.
Boo, boo, boo. Okay.
Let's talk about the last couple minutes of the show.
Okay, let's do
Yes.
it.
They branded him.
Oh yes.
Hello.
When that because Raz had said we're gonna erase your memory, blah blah blah. That's me putting it in a nutshell. When he got branded, was that supposed to be the process of him forgetting everything, or is that happening in the future?
It's symbolic,
Yeah.
I think, but it's this is the start of your new life. This is your whatever. This is your
Here's your
something,
Mortal Kombat
here's
outfit.
Your new name. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the goodbye scenes. On one hand, they all worked really well. On the other hand, I really wanted to hit Oliver when he was talking to Felicity, because that don't say goodbye. If you don't say goodbye, it's like you've never really left. Like, I'm sorry, that didn't
doesn't
work in
make-
Red versus Blue, and it's not going to work
No.
here.
Doesn't even make sense.
I don't know.
It's the philosophy of if we don't say goodbye, then it's not forever. No.
No, it just means
But
it's forever, but you never said
sweet,
goodbye.
guys.
No, it's not sweet.
Wait.
It's incredibly psychologically damaging. It didn't work in Red versus Blue. It's not going to work here.
Different show. It's Green Arrow.
Same philosophy, same messed up people. No, it's just not going to work. So that was the one thing that was just like, oh my God, you guys could do so much better than this, but it comes down to don't say goodbye. I hate goodbyes. Oh, come on.
He also said he wanted her to
Cliche
live a happy life.
cheesy.
Psychologically damaging. This isn't going to help anybody in the long run.
I mean, I wouldn't take it seriously. I'd just say, okay, this is not goodbye. There's hope, maybe one day.
And there
we'll
goes
cross
any
paths
sense
one
of
more-
closure you may ever have.
Exactly. Go get your closure.
I would love to live in hope. Okay, I am an optimistic individual. Leave me alone.
Psychologically damaging.
So, anyways, like I was saying, news and gossip, right?
it's a CW show.
TV News.
All right, let's see. Spin the wheel and see what comes up, because there's random pictures that I have. But while those are being pulled up, let's see what I have. All right. Oh, pictures. Okay. So, in celebration of all of the Arrow wonderfulness as we wind down, boo, there's some t-shirts that my girl at KC, Carrie Bear 09. Did I do, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, she makes these really awesome graphic tees. So you can go online, you can find them, you can tweet at her, and she can give you a link where you can purchase them. There's another Arrow. And then, of course, because it's Olicity night, she threw some of those in there too. So, yeah, support.
Cute.
Okay.
So, Carrie Bear, look her up, find her, and get a shirt, because they're awesome. Rock them. Okay, moving right along. Oh, okay. So we've talked about it before, and I think I've yet to. It is Santa. If you are listening to us on iTunes, I always do these awesome pictures, and watch us on YouTube. Anyhow, so Knocking Points. It is Stephen Amell and his friend, whom I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head his name, but it's their winery. And I had mentioned last episode that they have a comic that goes along when you are part of the Wine of the Month Club. You get all sorts of fun goodies. This just happens to be a picture from one of the comics that they have. So they do a whole little, everything is Arrow themed. Let's go to the next picture, including each wine that they pick out. So there's a little arrow and target if you are listening, trying to describe as best as I can. But each label is really cool, and again, it's surrounded by the Arrow theme. Next picture, if I have any. I may not.
That is it.
Okay, so the rest are videos then. So we can start queuing the videos. Now, news. Let's see. Oh, Oliver's going to get a brand new lair, finally. He should have moved a long time ago, but hey, whatever.
Well, now that the cops officially know where it is and have officially raided it,
They found his basement,
he's got to
yeah.
move.
Yeah, it's Nanda Parbat.
He's got like a mountain palace now, yeah.
Let's see.
We have on Twitter from Gene Hernandez, Raz al Ghul and the League of Wingmen. Hashtag Olicity.
Can that be the next spinoff?
I would watch that TV program.
Last thing I'm going to say, okay, so we're going to see Nyssa deal with the aftermath of what happens now that she is not the next Raz al Ghul.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a video, so we're just going to go ahead and watch that. And this, we'll just watch a small excerpt. You can go ahead and push play, but this is...
the best part about making your own TV show is?
You can completely justify buying a drone.
So it's drone footage.
This is Dudes Being Dudes in Wine Country, which is our first Knocking Point television show. And we plan on it being the greatest show ever about two dudes being dudes in wine country.
It's not a long list, right?
Oh, pass around, Lex.
My name is Tyler Russell, and I'm the winemaker for Nell Winery here in Paso Robles.
Did you say Robles?
Yes, I did.
Is that the way that you say it?
Robles is how we say it, right?
You say Paso Robles.
Just like my daddy, he a circuit breaker.
So anyway, you can continue to watch the rest of his episodes. You can look them up on YouTube. And then I think I have one last video, if I'm correct.
But
No,
I
don't.
What I took away
Okay.
from that is that Stephen Amell has a drone.
Yeah,
He does. It must be wonderful to be him. Anyway.
Also, we have answers for the trivia
Yay!
questions from Alicia Perez, Christy, Andre Doty, Gillian Davila, Kylia, and Gene Hernandez all say the Riddler, whereas Elizabeth Harrison says Harvey Dent.
It is Edward
Nygma, a.k.a. the Riddler. And the only reason that he doesn't out Batman's identity once he learns it is that Batman says to him effectively, well, if you do that, then I'm going to tell the League you used the Lazarus Pit, and they're going to kill you.
It's a pretty good bargain.
Right, I take it.
I mean, you know.
I believe we call this mutually assured destruction.
All right.
Steeple's fingers. Wait. I believe we call this mutually assured destruction.
Wow. Did not know your voice could go that deep.
I've done it before here.
So,
My best and worst Batman voice all in one.
well, Batman, let's get into predictions, and I'm going to start with you.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I will be really, really surprised if Oliver makes it to the end of the season without Roz going, so, kill this guy. No, seriously, kill this guy. You're in the League of Assassins now. This Raz al Ghul of Justice thing is not going to pan out because he has to mold him into a Raz al Ghul and forget his past life and philosophical whatever first. And I think it's going to come to a head where it's going to be, kill this person from your life that you supposedly care about. If you can't do it, consequences. If you can do it, you lose your soul. So, problems. I get the feeling that's going to come to a head, and that is going to come to a head very quickly. And that will cause whatever, Oliver leaving the league, something. He's not going to be in the league by the end of the season. It's not going to happen.
I hope so. I hope he leads the league forever. But I agree with Katie for the most part. I also think that we're gonna get a little bit from Nyssa being like, maybe if I kill this guy, I can be the rightful heir. So I'm hoping that's a thing. And I really want more consequences with Thea coming back to life. So I'm hoping that is addressed at least in the next episode.
I would like to see Oliver Queen bring the gift of electric light to Nanda Parbat. First off, and whoever does have to light the candles, if it's not Roz, give that dude a raise. And more Mortal Kombat outfits. Really, like the mask at the end. I'm all about this. It's great. More Mortal Kombat outfits. Maybe like some wide shots of two people doing fisticuffs with each other for a while.
Most of them are in shades of yellow, so if we could get someone in blue and someone in green, we can have Scorpion and help me.
Basically,
Sub-Zero.
thank you.
Sub-Zero. I keep going. Frozone, not Frozone.
Basically-
Mr. Freeze, not him either.
Basically, the closer we
And
can
the
get to a
lizard.
potential lawsuit, the better for me, because it's going to be really, really fun to watch them do fatalities on each other and whatnot. But
Do fatalities on each other.
yeah, do
Okay.
fatalities on
And then
each other. I know
bring
what I
them
said.
Each other back to
Okay.
life.
Yeah,
No,
right,
it's an actual term for Mortal Kombat. A fatality is a finishing move.
No, I mean, okay.
And then jump in the pit, do it again tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
And then you do wind up with Mortal Kombat because everyone's insane.
Okay. Here's my thing. We saw in the preview.
Let's bring it back in from left field, shall we?
Go for it.
So anyway,
Do it.
we saw the preview for next episode, which is basically Oliver getting put in that position by Roz with Dig on his knees saying, pretty much kill him. Is that going to happen?
Finish him.
Okay, excuse me. Man voice. Anyhow, is that going to happen? No, absolutely not. Will Roz die? Quite possibly. It's been alluded that he may, but you know what? What happens after? I'm going to raise this question. What happens when he's done molding Oliver into the next Raz al Ghul? Does he just go and curdle up into a raisin ball and die because he's been kept young for so long that now the Lazarus Pit's going to wear off and he's just going to... I'm just
Curdle up into a raisin ball.
I'm envisioning him getting him really old really quickly. It's like he steps off the throne and then all those years that he's put into that just hit him at once and he gets to die peacefully and be
Last
done.
Crusade, drinking out of the wrong grail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyhow, that wraps up our fantastic after show. Thank you for joining us. Do not forget to support all of your hosts by following us on Twitter. And for those of us who have, boys and beauty channels, if you subscribe, that would be awesome.
Only two of us have one of those.
But visit Katie's Tumblr and hang out there, right? You have Tumblr?
Do I get to say things? Or are you just going to take care of it
She was
forever?
jumping
I was
to you.
supporting you. I was showing my support towards your stuff. Now
And
go
I do
ahead.
appreciate it.
Pick it up. Or she's
My
putting it
name's
down.
Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I'm also on the Transformers Robots in Disguise after show every Sunday at 5.
And I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Tauri J. It's TaurijAY. You can also find me on the Grimm panel on Sundays and the Flash panel on Tuesdays. Only a few episodes left, so make sure to catch those guys.
Lex Michael, Twitter handle at the Lex Michael.
And I'm Alikona Bradford at Kiss My Passport. Once again, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV. Finish him!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.